Crown Cuts Academy Bristol
That's right.
and Craig's Crown Cuts downtown JC. Welcome to another episode of dropping some gems, dropping some jewels, like we like to say, earning the crown. Spreading love the JC way is the only way we do it,
No doubt.
but also spreading love is the Crown Cuts way, like we like to say. We got a banging episode today, talking about booth rent, commission, the pros, the cons, what works for you. We're going to drop some gems. Again, we're going to let you get the business of this. This is a serious issue. I think that is going to propel you to the next level and help you kind of make some decisions moving forward. Again, if you have questions, hit us up. We live on Market Street Media with my guy Lathan over there, the #1 DJ in the country. That's the crowd noise.
Intro music.
Crowd goes wild.
Should have had him scratching for the intro.
But I got a nice panel headed there. I'm let them introduce themselves and talk about, hey, where they at, what they want to do, and then we're going to jump into this topic. Let's get it. To my right.
Just like that. Cool. Right off. Cool, yeah. My name's Preston. I'm one of the owners of Breaker Barber Company. You can see us on Instagram and Facebook at Breaker Barber Company, at Preston Cuts Hair, at Cody Hubbard Hair. We've been in the game now for almost a year. We're looking at expanding our shop, just growth. We're moving into a new building in March. We won Best Barbershop Reader's Choice of JC in 2020. Super humbled by that.
Awesome.
Very grateful. So yeah, we're just growing. So we're looking forward to more growth. We're adding 2 new members to the team in the fall. Yeah, so super humbled.
And also, one of the founding members of Crown Cuts
One of
Academy.
the founding members. Let's go. That's what I'm talking
original.
about.
Started the
OG.
school off. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in the Hall of Fame. Let's go around it.
Yeah, bring it in, Preston. Ray Connor, actual active instructor and barber, working over at Tailor Made Barbershop, but also having the distinct privilege of working at Crown Cuts Academy in Johnson City. Love what I'm doing. Just on Instagram as well, at Cuts by Connor. So that is definitely a new and exciting feature going on. Also, we were just in CNN with the Confess Project, so definitely get an opportunity to go check that out.
Great article. Great article, by the way.
All right, my name's Kevin. I actually just started at Crown Cuts Academy the 1st of December, so I'm coming up on the completion of my 2nd month. Getting really excited and anxious as I push toward those 200 hours to where Craig's going to bless me with my kit.
Oh, you're going to get blessed, all right.
I'm just been sitting back, soaking it all in, really eager to be a part of this and to listen to some of the knowledge from people who's been doing this a long time, who've been successful, who's opened their own shops, schools, instructors to my left and right. So, yeah, I'm just here trying to soak it all up and maybe drop a little bit here and there when I can.
The #1 stunner, only female on the.
House. Hi, I'm Leslie. I go to Bristol School of Hair Design, soon to be Crown Cuts.
Oh, yeah.
Boom,
And
boom.
I'm in the nail tech program there, and
Cool.
I'll be done at the end of February, so
Oh.
not too much longer.
Oh, okay. I thought you were an
Yeah,
instructor there. Okay,
no.
cool.
Not yet.
sorry. Didn't
You're
need to-
fine.
Throw that on.
So one of the main topics people think about when they're in school is, how do I get paid?
Absolutely.
I mean, because
That's why we're in it.
Yeah.
I mean, not just a passion, but after you put the time and money into going to school,
So-
obviously it's something
so when you think about, Leslie, you hear how do you get paid? What are you thinking about?
in as far as just I have like short term and long term, like
Right. So when you get out of school, you're thinking about, I need to make some money. And there's several options which we're going to jump into. But what is giving you anxiety or what is not giving you anxiety?
I think the thought of coming out of school fresh, no clientele, going to a booth rent situation gives me anxiety. To be responsible for everything, not having any clientele, plus at the end of the week when that booth rent or the end of the month, whatever, when it's due, I don't want that pressure. That gives me anxiety. So a commission style aspect of it makes sense to me for the sense of like building clientele, going somewhere that has a lot of foot traffic and building that while I feel more confident in my skills as well.
Absolutely.
Kev, what are you thinking about? We had a conversation last week, and I stopped you because I wanted to keep all that content that you have built up in your mind for the podcast. What are you thinking about when you hear that? And even thinking about what Leslie just said.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm so fresh in this. I think my immediate concerns are more like, man, I have so far to go. You know what I'm saying? And then when that time comes, will I actually be ready? You know, I have the reserve. Will I actually be ready when my time's up in school to go out and be successful in a barbershop? And I believe if I put in the work and take the necessary steps to get there, and like Craig talks about, definitely not trying to skip steps.
Oh, no, you can't
then,
shortcut the process.
Yeah, he says that all the time. This is one of his favorite sayings, but it's very, very true, especially in any learned skill. I mean, you have to keep doing it and learn it. But for me personally, I'm going to be going into a booth rent situation only because I'm really good friends with someone who owns a barbershop now, and I have that opportunity already was placed in front of me before I even started.
Right.
You know, it's him by himself, but he has 2 chairs in there. And for the last couple of years, he's been telling me, he's like, man, because I've been talking about it, when I get my haircut, well, it's something I might want to do. I've always been kind of interested in it. And he's like, man, you go get your license, you can have this chair. Go get your license, you can have this chair. And so toward the end of last year, I decided that is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. So I'm blessed enough to have an opportunity with a friend who we've been going to school together since middle school. So 25 years, that we've known each other.
Dope.
And our families know each other. And it's just a really fluid situation for me to go straight in there. I basically know all of his clientele. I know a lot of the people that walk in there, and so I honestly don't feel like it would be so hard for me to build clientele because I'm so kind of interwoven in the community of Kingsport, or the people I know. So that doesn't really concern me that much. My more concern is, I guess, performance-wise, getting to my skill level, being to where it needs to be, and then speed, of course, secondly.
That'll come.
Yeah.
Preston, what do you think about when you hear that? And also, before I even move on, there's also barber shops and barber owners who also pay you hourly wages.
It's true.
So there's booth rent, there's commission, and then there's hourly wages.
No doubt.
You know what I
No, I
mean?
didn't
So
know
there are options. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Right.
There are options. What are you thinking about, Preston, when you hear that? Just to hear like the 2 rookies coming in.
Yeah, definitely. I think your anxieties are valid, no doubt. Because I remember when I first got in about 6 months into the program, I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not here. Like, I'm not gonna have any clients, and like that'll come. Like, don't sweat that. Like, your character and your people skills matter so much more than your barber skills. Like, that's important. Like, your proficiency at your craft is important.
Yes.
But if you cannot be relatable and personable and accountable,
that's longevity, Pete.
that's longevity.
That's
no
longevity.
doubt. That's what's going to keep you in this industry. So I totally feel that. Personally, I think long-term, I think booth rent's the way to go. That's just me. I've been in nothing but a booth rent situation my 3 years that I've been in this industry. That's what I've done. That being said, I was in a walk-in situation, so I didn't have to worry about building a clientele. They came to me. So that's something, shout out to Wampler, super thankful for them for providing that. But then, my people grew. Like, I had people that would just want to see me, and so then I was able to do appointments whenever Cody and I opened up Breaker. That was just an option. The reason why I think
Well, we're gonna get into
that.
All
All right.
This is the introduction.
Cool.
This,
Okay. That's just me. That's just me. That's where we're at.
Yeah, we just getting
All right.
the meat of it starting.
All right, my bad.
We're pulling the cord on the lawnmower.
Oh, all right. Cool.
We
Just
gotta
get the
pull
start
up.
up. Just get the rev up. All right, bet.
And on them old lawnmowers, you need about 10 pulls.
Man, I'm just a
Primer
push.
too,
I'm just
don't
a push
forget the
start.
primer.
Like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
So a little
yeah.
key turn.
You want to gas and go.
There.
So Pete, you don't even know how to drive a stick shift. You talking about gas?
No,
and
I
go.
do.
Oh.
I can drive. Yeah, 5 speed all day. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Oh man, you're just calling me into question like that.
Hey,
That's
the
a,
younger generation do not know how to drive straight drives. It's amazing.
hey man, I can't drive a stick shift.
Really?
What?
What?
I can
Get
drive
out
a
of
stick
here.
shift.
Get out of here.
I
I bet
guarantee.
you could. I bet you could.
I know I could. I can
yeah.
get in there and
yeah,
move
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
He said I'd move it. I don't know how far I'd go, but I'd move it.
So Ray, what are you thinking about when you hear booth front? What do you think about?
I think that's a
Or this
very-
commission, or this when you have these anxieties, these things that's going on, what's going through your mind?
honestly, when I got done with barber school, I was actually so nervous that I didn't even start cutting hair right away. I felt like I had to do something that was secure. So, just continue working in factory, and just felt like even though I wanted to barber, I had so much anxiety about building up clientele. Which barber shop was I going to go to? Does my vibe fit with their vibe? So it was like, oh, you may get 10 haircuts this day, and you may get 2 haircuts this day. So I was just so freaked out. I was like, yo, I'm gonna continue just working in factories, and and have that secure paycheck, and not worry about that anxiety, as opposed to doing what I really loved.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, that is normal. The anxiety, thinking about your clientele, thinking about how much you're gonna make, that is normal. And there's a perception out there that the barbershop have no dead time. There is dead time in commission, booth rental, or even when you hourly wages, because some days it's gonna be slow. That's just normal. That's part of it. So don't think that you are going and swimming an uphill battle thinking that you're not gonna make no money. You're not gonna have no clientele. All that stuff is true when you're starting out. You have to build. People have to trust you. It's longevity. It's not short term, like P said. So people have to trust your work. They have to trust you as an individual. Trust that you're going to be there. Trust that you're going to be consistent. And those things, that's something you have to start early on. You build those character traits, those habits in the beginning, in school, moving forward. So when you get out, you're ready to just, hey, attack this. So that's normal anxiety. Anything you're trying to do, sometimes you're doing something new, it's going to be normal anxiety. It's okay. But today, we're going to alleviate some of those nervousness to our casual observers out there, to our fans, to our listeners. Let them know how we feel. What are the pros? What are the cons? How do you get better? How do you attack this thing when you get out of school? Or even maybe you're trying to change jobs, go to somewhere else. What are you looking for? So we're going to break these things down. We're going to talk about booth rental, the pros and the cons. What are the pros and the cons, Preston, of booth rental?
We good. We straight. Those listening, me and Ray are bouncing back and forth between headsets, so there's nothing to love between us. My boy. Yeah, so pros and cons of booth rent. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like there's I'm going to say the same thing about the con of booth rent versus and the con of commission. And I think the biggest con is perception. Go ahead.
All right, before we move on, I think people need to know what a booth renter is. It's an independent contractor. You're basically renting a space.
Yeah.
Almost like you rent an apartment.
Yep.
It's not yours. You have to take care of it, and you're paying a percentage of what the owner deemed is acceptable.
Right on, no doubt.
Something that's not going to drown you, but where both parties are going to be happy. You're going to be happy, and they're going to be happy.
That's it.
That's key. So going in there, you have to know how to negotiate and come with some type of merit and some type of goodwill, knowing that, okay, I've worked hard, I've done my best, and if he comes and says it's 70-30, you can negotiate. There's some wiggle room.
No doubt. Yeah. And I think I bouncing off of that, that's kind of where I'm hitting, like the perception of greed. I think whoever your employer is contracting you out, if he or she wants to see you succeed, you're going to see that when they put down on the table what their expectations are and the money for the week or the commission cap for the week, what that looks like. So if it's an unreasonable amount, I think that's just a greedy barber shop or a greedy salon or whoever
It has to work for
has
both
to
you
work.
guys.
Absolutely has to work for both of you. That's like, I mean, just from my experience, like with Cody and I, like we want to see our people succeed. So we're making options, which we can talk about later. But we want to see them grow and thrive and like never leave unless they want to go open up their own place, because that's just who we are and like we believe in our people. So yeah.
So then you're basically your own business when you're a booth
For
runner.
sure.
And I don't think people realize when you're a booth runner, you have to have your own business license. You should have your
Really?
own business license
Okay.
because you're renting a business.
Okay.
So if you're similar to if you're independent contractor as a carpenter,
Mm-hmm.
you have to pay taxes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that way you have to go and get a business license.
Yeah.
So if you're an independent contractor renting a booth from someone, you should go and get your business license to reap the benefits.
Yeah.
Super easy to do, by
Keep
the
your
way.
taxes in order as well.
That's valuable. That's important. So listening to what we just said, Leslie, what's coming to your mind? I'm not trying to sway your opinion. We're just having a conversation. What comes to your mind?
I think down the line, booth rent is where I would want to be. If I'm not owning my own place, then a booth rent situation is what I think would be ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you said, it plays into what works for both people, and at some point you have to know your worth.
No
You
doubt.
know.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely.
So, for me, while it brings me anxiety, while I'm still in school,
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
down the line, that's
Totally valid. Yeah.
where I would want to be
No doubt.
down the line.
No
yeah.
doubt.
And then it's not as much responsibility because booth rental, you're working on your own. You're working for yourself. So one of the mistakes that I've seen a lot of booth runners do over time, they get lazy. And they just come in when they think it's peak time.
Mm.
Peak time being Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And not want to come in Tuesday and Wednesday. But that's a fallacy because the barbershop sometimes Tuesday might be real busy. Wednesday might be real busy. So you have to be careful about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You never really know what's going on in people's lives, why they want to
doubt.
come on Tuesday instead of a Friday to get a haircut. You know,
Right.
everybody, they might have something going on Wednesday they want to look good for.
And your guy might need you, you know?
Absolutely, and you're not there. So
that-
then
that
he goes to
hurts.
someone else and he likes how they work and they're like their availability, and you lost that client. It's always a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, that comes back to that connection, too. Like, let's say, like, God forbid, one of your people's, like, they lose a loved one
Mm.
and they need you that day and you're not there. Well, your boy is there. And so he's not only made a connection with that dude, but he's also made a deeper connection with that person because they were there for them in a tragedy.
Yeah.
And so by default, like that's their dude now, you know?
Yep.
So yeah, being consistent with your people, like that's vital.
I just want to play devil's advocate a little bit, I guess, and
That's
on,
good.
on a negative side of booth rent, since we haven't really
Hit it.
discussed one
Mhm.
yet,
Hit it.
is, say, your booth rent's mostly weekly, I would guess. That's kind of, what
Sure.
I'm saying, traditional. But
Some barbers want to pay like monthly, almost like a rent like for apartment. but
right, and
typically
for
it's
this
weekly.
situation, it really doesn't matter because
Right.
you're going to be paying. What I mean is, if something comes up, or you're injured, or you're
Mhm.
sick, or something's going on with your family, or you decide to take vacation, you're still responsible for that booth rent for that week, even though you didn't work. And on the commission side, if you're not there, you're not. When you're cutting hair, when the only time you're splitting your money is when you're cutting hair.
Right.
Instead of with a booth rent, you automatically have to pay it no matter if you cut 0 heads that week or 100 heads that
Sure.
week. So, and
Yeah.
then that comes into money management.
That's
I
something
made a
we'll
lot
talk
of money.
about.
I made
Mhm.
a lot of money this week. I didn't make hardly any this week. Did I save what I made last week to get me through this week?
Right on.
And also we on the cons. There are a lot of businesses, a lot of barber shops, salons, nail techs, whatever. They give you benefits. When you're independent contractor, those benefits don't come to you.
Right. Absolutely.
You have to take care of your health care.
Mhm.
You have to take care of your tools, your equipment, your implements. Those things, when you have booth rent, those are on you. So you're looking at thinking that well, I'm taking in more of my money, but you're also not reaping the benefits of what we'll talk about later on.
Your expenses are higher.
It is. So sometimes it's not that booth rent is better or commission is better. You have to go in there and be able to negotiate for yourself.
Sure. Totally.
Because both can be, I can see where both of them are advantageous.
Yeah. Also, I would guess with commission. I mean, the only way the owner of the barbershop's making money is if you're cutting. So they're going to be trying to get clientele for you. You know, advertising for you to pump more people into your seat. So therefore, they make more money as well.
Right. What do you think, Ray? I know you have something up your sleeve. You want to say something.
I think so here's the thing. I think with regardless of your booth renting or you're doing commission, the thing is in this business, you have to know your worth.
Yes.
So I think that especially a lot of times when we're coming out of school, a lot of us don't know our worth. We're just like, I just want to do it. I just want to be successful. Well,
it depends where you go, Ray.
Right.
It depends where you at. You know what I mean? Because at Crown Cuts Academy, we teach you your worth.
exactly.
We pushed it on. You gotta know your worth.
Right. And I mean,
They'll get you right.
and that's something we talk about in the classes. I mean, know your worth, know the process, understand it, fall in love with it.
Make it your passion.
Right, make it your passion. You have to do that in order to be successful in this. And I feel like when you're going out there and you're negotiating, you're like, okay, well, I'll take 50-50 on the commission or whatever case may be. Or you're like, no, I know how hard I'm going to work. I know how hard I'm going to grind. So therefore, I want to be in a situation where I am doing a booth rental situation. Preston and then we were talking, Preston and Cody, they're open on Mondays. So they're literally cornering a market and saying, hey, we're going to be open on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And they're killing the game right now because people want to get in on there and say, hey, you know what? I'd rather come in Monday as opposed to taking up my Saturday and waiting to get a haircut.
Wow.
That's the beginning of the week.
Right.
That's the top of the week. You want to look fresh for the beginning of the week. I think that's advisable.
Right. And I talked to a person about that because up at TaylorMade now they're going to do Monday starting on the 1st of February. So it's kind of like, all right, am I going to work hard? Am I going to grind? And if this is the business where you have to work hard, you have to grind, but you have to be able to establish a good relationship. And Craig, you and I talk about this, and we said it before, 50% of your clientele is based off of the relationship you build with them. 40% is the atmosphere, while 10% is the haircut.
That's it.
And we try to tell the students this all the time. So are you providing that relationship? When I go in the Preston shop, I'm not even getting a haircut, but I feel like, I'm loved and I'm valued just being there.
Right.
I've seen people come in there and they just like want to be in that environment and want to just soak up his and Cody's energy. So you have to be able to know your worth, but you got to be able to put good things out, not just good haircuts,
right,
but good energy. And if you're doing that, hey, honestly, the best way to do it is by doing a booth rental.
And that's what we had to talk about.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like you're saying, it's there's several different types of people. There are people who are go-getters and people who want to let things happen for them. So if you're a go-getter, it depends. Booth rental might be for you, but if you're the type of person who's going to let things unfold for you, it has to come to you, it might be commission. Because for one, booth renters, you have to do your own marketing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be personable. You have to, on both sides you have to be personable, but you have to be a go-getter. You have to go out there and get it. You have to let people know who you are. You have to build your own brand. You can't build a brand off of Preston, what Preston do. You can't build a brand off of what Leslie does. And that's just not in the barbershop, Leslie. That's all around. Mm-hmm. Nail technician, cosmetologist, esthetician, massage therapy. You have to build a rapport and relationship with your service provider. Your service provider have to build a relationship with you as well. It goes both ways. Because what that does, it helps you retain your clients. It increases your income. And it keeps your reputation solid.
Yeah, reputation is key for sure.
So we're talking about booth rental. So we'll go around the room before we jump into commission because I want to make sure we hit one topic before we jump to the next one. So we'll talk about booth rental, we'll talk about commission, and we'll talk about just monthly wages, hourly wages. So before I go around, I'm going to start with Leslie. and then we'll go around and come back to you, P. Your pros, your cons of booth rental.
I think starting out
Yes.
cons would just be the responsibility of having to provide everything that you need, and not me not knowing what if there's something I don't know that I need.
Right.
I haven't been doing this long enough, and
Right.
I don't have that, so that just plays in more to it. So con wise, I think that's it, and just the uncertainty of, am I going to be able to pay this week? That would be a con. Cons for commission? Did you ask that?
No,
as
we're
well?
going booth rental first, and then we're gonna go
I
commission
gotcha.
afterwards. So that's your cons. What are your positive you see of booth rental?
I'm my own boss, basically. I want to be I want to make my own rules. As far as how I do my nails and that aspect, yeah.
There's still within the confines of a shop. There still are rules, and there's still a team player aspect. It's you are your own boss, but you still have to play fair.
Absolutely.
You are your own boss, but not because you're your own boss, that doesn't mean you doesn't partake in cleaning.
Correct. I'm
Doesn't
the
mean
boss of my money. That's what I guess that's what
I know,
mean,
but some people perception, they think that, okay, you know what, this is not my shop, I'm just booth rental, I don't got to clean up. It reflects everyone when you have that mentality, and you shouldn't be a part of the shop anyway. If you're gonna have that mentality, you should not be a part of the shop at all. The pros and the cons you think of
I mean,
booth rental.
trying to think of something maybe we haven't touched on yet.
Rehash it.
I think a pro for me and it's kind of this industry period, and it's one of the reasons why it was appealing to me to get into it is the allowed flexibility.
Right.
You know, and especially with booth rent, you can basically set your own schedule. You can say when I'm going to be here, when I'm not going to be here. These are the things that I need to be off for my, my kids' basketball game, cheer competitions. It gives you time to be able to be a part of your family's life and to, concentrate on your career and your profession at the same time.
Right.
Because, a lot of people, working factory jobs 40, 50, 60 hours a week, well, their family life is suffering, Maybe not necessarily all of them, but it has the potential to suffer, should I say, because you're not able to be there for a lot of things. And so family is really important to me. I have 2 children, and I grew up without a father, so I know what that's like, not having that aspect in my life, and it's super important that I'm there and I'm available as much as I can be and supportive in every extracurricular activity and their schooling and everything they have going on. So that's one of my top priorities on my list.
Flexibility.
Flexibility and being there and available for my children and my family.
Right.
And so I know that when I come into this, then I have the opportunity for that. I can kind of schedule the people that I need to schedule, be there for walk-ins and everything like that. And that's kind of what booth rent provides. Now, on the flip side of that, sticking with the family thing, and like we touched on earlier, I'm going to have to go out. I'm going to have to get my own medical insurance, my own dental insurance.
Unless you marry somebody like your wife was in there.
Well, yeah, I do. I'm very blessed and fortunate the fact that my wife does have a great job who provides that for us. But I was speaking on the fact that, if that wasn't in the equation, then that's what I would be responsible for. Not only do I not know anything about it, so I'm going to have to go do all this research on all these different medical plans and what they do and don't, but not only am I coming out of my pocket with the initial, all the equipment I need, all my tools I need in the beginning, then I'm paying booth rent. Well, now I'm also paying medical and dental and, you know what I'm saying, all these expenses. So, that just comes to the fact that, like, that's just one of the cons, like you said, if you're doing commission or you're doing an hourly wage. I think by law your employer has to offer you some type of insurance if it's, whatever the stipulations are to the law.
Right.
So I think that one of the cons about booth rental is there's just so many variables. There's that unknown of, okay, are we going to be busy today? Am I making, can I can I go ahead and count up that 200 I'm gonna make today, or is it just one of those slower days? You know, it's raining outside, nobody wants to come outside. It's cool, it's snowy, nobody wants to come outside get a haircut today, so I'm 40 in. You know, so I think like that's the central con. The pro about it is, as Kevin was saying, is the flexibility. You know, I can make my schedule what I want to make it. I could decide, okay, I'm coming in at 9 o'clock and I'm cutting to 4, or hey, my daughter got a basketball game or gymnastics, so I'm just there until 2 o'clock and I'm out. You know, it's that, you know, it's that availability to make your schedule whatever you want to make it. And I think also with booth rental, it's all in your grind. You know, I think that's one thing that just separates booth rental from commission. And I mean, I don't know the exact quote, but it was by Eric Thomas, and it was just simply saying that, you know, somewhere in Africa, there's a lion waking up and there's a gazelle waking up. And the lion knows that he must outrun the slowest gazelle if he wants to eat. So every morning, you better get up and start running. And that's kind of, you know what I'm saying, that's a life thing. You know, how hard are you going to grind for your family, your kids, your wife? You know, she's working, she's busting her butt doing her part. How hard are you going to grind to balance that out? And so, yeah, I think that's one of the things with this of how bad do you want it? How hard are you going to grind? And I'm going to leave on this one because I'm going to say, just like we tell our students, you know, we can't want it for you more than you want it for you.
That's everywhere.
That's everywhere.
From the classroom to the boardroom to the workspace.
Yeah, we can't want it more. We can't want it for you more than you want it for you.
That'll never work.
Craig can't go in there and grind for you in the shop, and you be successful. Preston can't go in there for you in the shop. We can give you all the tools, but how hard are you going to grind, or are you just going to want to let it come to you? That's it. That's all I got.
Hey,
Mic drop.
Just like that.
He's out.
Word. No, I think that's so. I'm just gonna hijack everybody's answers because y'all said it really well. Big pros. You get to be your own boss. This is gonna be literally a recap. Flexibility is something that's so attractive to me by being a booth renter, and I think that has to come with this something that needs to be discussed before you start and sit down somewhere and start building clientele at this space, is to make sure that you have the flexibility that you're demanding. Because my family is everything to me. My wife and my kid, like, I want to be able to, like, today, I got to sleep in this morning. I took the day off, hung out with my daughter, went and had lunch with a student, and then came here and did this. I have that freedom and flexibility, one, like, as an owner, but two, if I'm a true booth renter, our people that come and work with us, they're going to have this same kind of freedom because I have that, and I think that's fair. So yeah, definitely. I think that's vital. A big con for me, and I said this earlier, is greed from your employer. And you can see that real quick when they start taking stuff away from you. And I think it's important for you to play fair with your employer and do the things that are asked of you. Like when you, whatever your expectations are, meet them and exceed them.
yes.
But if you're paying a weekly rent and you're doing your part, and you should be able to take a day off. You should be able to take a week off.
Yeah.
I mean, bills don't stop coming in, so I don't care you're sick or vacations. Like, your power bill still got to get paid. Right. So your booth rent bill still got to get paid. But you have that freedom, and you should deserve to have that freedom. And that's probably my biggest con. Ray said it really well, the uncertainty of it all, I think, can be scary. That's more intimidating than it is necessarily true.
But you also dictate your own destiny.
You totally do. You totally do. Your value, your ability to market yourself is huge in this. And so you start throwing it up on the gram, you start pushing it on social media sites, you start doing word of mouth stuff. You run to the mall. Cody and I talk about this all the time. This is something you did for us, and now we like want more people to do that. When we first started, we went to the mall for like the first 2 months and just handed out free cards. We're like, hey, I see you care about yourself. Like, if you wouldn't care, please give me a chance. And I'll cut your hair for free. Like, this is what this is. Yeah. And I built clientele like that.
Stop by the school.
Stop by yeah, for real. And people came in and they're like, all right, let's see what you got, kid. Like, I've got really low expectations for this. But if you can meet those low expectations, they come back and they give you another chance, give you another chance. And so, like, Craig's given that to us. He gave that to me. He's given that to you guys. And so, this is a picture. Craig is, and I'm going to brag on you a little bit. This is a picture of a selfless employer. He's giving you tools and keys and abilities to succeed. Now, there are expectations that come with those keys, but they're not irrational. They're not impossible to hit. They're very simple to hit. So if you are working with someone who values you as a person, who cares about people, which if you're in this industry, you need to care about people.
You have to. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But people who care about people
you can
want
tell.
to see others succeed.
Yeah.
And so as long as you're working with someone who wants to see you succeed, you're not going to fail.
And even though you're an individual in the shop, it's still part of a team.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No
You're
doubt.
still part of
Team
a team.
creates the atmosphere.
For
I
sure.
mean,
Like you
know,
say, what you say?
One person can bring
What y'all
down the
call in
entire-
Kingsport, the home team?
Home team.
Home team, man.
Home team. Shout out to Kingsport home team.
You know,
Y'all out there.
someone told me, this is not really off the top of it, it's about a Kingsport hair, because it's be a cut in Kingsport called a Kingsport. It's like a bowl cut or something. Everybody.
I used to
Oh.
have a bowl cut when I was in middle school. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't think that was exclusive to Kingsport. That was kind of like a
I don't know.
90s thing.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
Listen, hey, you can bring that back,
Early
though.
90s.
The Kingsport.
This about
Yeah.
everybody on every white guy on TV had that at the time.
Hey, black guys too. Everybody. Yeah, Kingsport's plenty of love. Go to
don't
Kingsport.
put that on us.
Looking,
Yeah.
One of
looking
my
rough.
one of my best friends is in Kingsport. He made me come to this area. So shout out to KPT all the time. So now we're gonna talk about commission. We've been harping on booth rental commission.
Right.
Commission is a percentage that the employer gives you. Sometimes I've heard when I first started barbering, the commission I heard was 70-30. That was typical. Then I've heard
Which way?
70 to the barber who's doing the services, performing, working hard, grinding, sweating, and 30 to the house.
Okay.
But then it has gotten so flexible where I've heard 60-40. I've even heard 50-50.
I've heard that as well.
So, and I've even heard like 60-40 the other way,
Yep.
where the house gets 60 and the barber gets 40.
That's crazy.
Yes and no. But if you're getting medical benefits,
If,
Yeah.
you're getting your tools taken care of. Some employer buy your tools, give you brand new tools. You can go to continuing education courses for free. Those things are valuable now because that stuff adds up when you have to pay for your travel, pay for the course.
And that's a whole different. That right there is so
That's
different.
a lot. Yeah.
That's,
So-
yeah.
So commission is not that bad. Like I said, you can negotiate and talk to your employer and ask for those things.
Yeah.
So when you get commission, it's not all bad. So a lot of the anxiety that we talked about, Les, is off your back. It's off your shoulders. That's a major game changer. Medical, continuing education, all that extra stuff you're getting.
Yeah.
You're getting your tools,
Yeah.
and you're getting paid vacation in some instances.
Wow.
So
You're making it sound better by the minute.
I mean, but that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for, to talk about this.
Yeah.
But you don't have that flexibility.
Right.
You have to come and work
When they say you got to come.
8
to
to
work.
5.
Yeah.
But sometimes some people, those benefits outweigh the flexibility.
Mhm.
Because you have paid vacation, you can take some time off, but you are expected to be here at a certain time,
Yep.
which is fair.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
in some instances, commission, you even make more money. Some instances you could have both commission and booth rent, where you're paying a booth rent from Tuesday to Friday, and on Saturday you get it's commission, or vice versa, or you doing commission Monday through Friday, and on Saturday you paying a booth rental. So it's flexibility in those things.
Okay.
And just being here today, that's what we're here to talk about. So hearing what I said just now, Les, what are you thinking about commission? And I know you more favoring commission.
Yeah, but that 40-60 that doesn't. No, I mean it's like one of those things where you know your worth, and maybe someone, I don't know where 40-60.
40-60 sometimes could mean you making $1,500 a week,
Depending on where you're at. Yeah.
depending on
no
where
doubt.
you're
That's what I was gonna say.
at.
I mean,
You can make $1,500 a week, and that's sweet. That's sweet.
you're your percentage.
You can make $800 a week, and then you don't have to do nothing but come in and show up.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be. That's a good.
Depending on the price of the haircut, you know what I'm saying?
It's not even depends on the price of the hair. Because if you're getting paid $1,000 a week, you just have to show up. You have to do no marketing. Your tools getting paid for. You getting paid vacation. What's not the love about that? I'm just being devil's advocate, showing both sides. Because I don't want to make it seem that booth rental is better than commission or commission is better than booth rent. It's just for the individual barber, nail tech,
I know
cosmetologist.
Shane Nesbitt over in California. His barbers are on a commission base, and I can't remember. It's either 60-40 or 70-30, but he said his barbers are guaranteed to walk out with $1,500 every week, and that's not including tips. But that's a marketing that he's done for his shop,
Right.
and more of a tribute to him versus his barbers, because he's guaranteeing that, and so people can come in and they're going to know because of Shane they're going to get these great cuts. So, yeah, definitely.
I mean, it could be like you said, and it's not it could be short term, it could be long term for you. It all depends on how you see things, because some people, like you hear it all the time, some people do not want to own their own business.
Yeah.
Some people would rather work for someone the rest of their lives.
I'm there right now. I don't really know at this point in time if I have aspirations to own my own shop or not. I think that's kind of so far down the road that I have so much more right now that I need to concentrate on that I can kind of cross that bridge when I get there.
Well, the good thing is you just started school, and by the time your ninth month, you will be like, your mindset will be changed.
Exactly.
You will absorb so much information.
Definitely.
And being around barbers like P, all these wonderful barbers in the area, and getting knowledge from them, and people dropping by the school, you'd be like, man, I got options now.
Yeah.
I can do this different.
That's great. That's the great thing about this field. There's so many different options, and that's kind of what we're talking about today.
Yeah. So commission, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, because in this field, we need medical insurance, unless you want to pay your own. Medical insurance, everyone knows, and you individually pay for it, it can be high.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So sometimes it even balances out.
I think for me, it's like I don't mind to put in the work. I don't mind to be at work. If I take that 40, 60, in my mind, it's like, okay, I want to go here, and it's going to cost me this much, so I need to be at work this much. Like, that's just my mindset, though.
And
it's like I don't care to work for it, but I also.
And then the tips are all yours.
Yep.
So it might balance out. So some people, you have to look at it at both perspective angles, and just be the best version of yourself, and put out the most energy. And that's how you're going to benefit. You could benefit, I believe, in both avenues. Because if you're around some good barbers in a good shop, booth rent will be good for you.
Yeah.
If you're around some good barbers in a great shop, commission could be good for you. There's a team you're around.
Yep.
Like Preston said, he is invested in his barbers to see them grow. I'm invested in my barbers. I'm invested in my students to see them grow. So when someone is invested in you, that should be one of the determination factors for where you're going to work in your interview.
No doubt.
Man, this person is really invested in me. They really care about me. They really care about my situation, my kids, my family, my friends, my time off, because you don't want to be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because in this industry, you can be overwhelmed too. You can get burnt out. A lot of people drop the industry because they get burnt out.
Yep. Facts.
I'm just going to jump in on the commission-based thing, on just a couple thoughts I had about it. One, I mean, I could see a scenario especially where, say, because Craig, you got a great school. You got people coming from all the way from Texas just listen to this podcast that's came up here to visit your school. We got students from North Carolina, different things like that. Say, someone came from a different place and came to your school and kind of got established in this area, fell in love with this area, and decided this is where I want to stay, but I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody in this area to kind of already have my foot in the door with clientele.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think going somewhere like a commission-based where they're almost guaranteed to get clientele from the shop who does the marketing, who, you know what I'm saying, who pushes people to be able to walk in and puts people in your chair, then that would be very beneficial than going to booth rent and just starting out, just not really having anyone.
You still have to build rapport with clients when you're doing commission too as well.
Right. No, what I'm
And I'm just talking. People still have to trust you. So
Yeah,
you can be
absolutely.
in a commission base, giving the service, and people will come in and be like, "Oh, no, he's new. I never seen him before.
Not doing that.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing that." So it can play both ways too now. You know what I mean? So it's something
Yeah.
that we have to think about.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So you still, in a sense, you still building in a sense in commission as well.
And I also think for me, like, maybe I'm not as confident as I will be a year from now, but I know for me personally, I can talk to a wall. I'm very personable. I've worked
Talk to
in-
that door now.
Right now.
Listen, don't tell me what to do.
I'm
But
just
no,
joking.
I love the atmosphere of a salon, and so
Yeah.
it comes naturally, I guess.
Right on.
You know, so but you have to rely on those skills that while your actual skill set might not be where you want to be at that point, you still have to make those connections with people.
Sure.
Your consultation,
Definitely.
getting the vibe, knowing that person, introduction. Those things are important, and this is what we emphasize and talk about so much in school. Getting information, knowing your worth, knowing as much from the book as possible, because all those little intricacies in the book, the little side notes on those pages that nobody reads, you might just read the straight. Those little side notes are little jewels. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
There's a tip. You know, it says, "Here's a tip" in the book. You know what I mean? And
It's great.
it's a tip for a reason.
Yeah.
So those little sidebars, little side notes help you dictate where you're going to be.
For sure.
the commission base can help you build your clientele. I mean, if you're confident in your personality and your ability to relate to people, but you don't necessarily know that many people, as those clients come in and you build that rapport with them, and you learn about them, they learn about you, and then you also perform a good service for them, then they're going to come back, man.
And then another
9
thing,
out of 10 times.
another thing too, you might get tied into a contract with commission,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
because if I'm giving you all these clients, I
Right.
might need you to stay with me for at least a year or 3 years, 2
Yeah.
years, 4 years. You know what I mean? Because
Still
I'm
in
not
all
just
my
gonna let
clients.
you come in and
Yeah. Do your thing. And I mean, a lot of people, when you sign contracts like that, you're signing not only like a commitment, but you're also signing a non-compete.
Yes.
And so they
Yeah.
let's say you break that contract, and you try to go somewhere else. I mean, homie, they got you down pen and paper. Like all they got to do is lawyer up, and you're toast.
Absolutely.
yeah,
You know.
you
you
can't
can't
work
do
within like a
anything.
25-mile radius.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even further than that a lot of times.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So commission. I mean, the more initially when I first started into this industry, I was like booth rent. But the more I gain knowledge and do my research and talk to different people in the industry around the country, I see where you can be advantageous in both sides. It just depends on you,
Right
on
on.
the individual barber. What
Totally.
Agree.
what skill set you bring? How knowledgeable are you? How good are your personal skills? Your haircuts is the last thing,
For sure.
but how do you relate to people? Are you a team player coming into the shop?
Yep.
Is there anything beneath you in the shop that you can't do? Take out the trash, sweep the floor, clean the bathroom, change the paper towels in the dispenser.
Oh my God.
Common denominator on all
Totally.
this is you.
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, so wherever you go, if you can work with those things, you might be able to.
Yeah.
He-
Yep.
Make it work either
Yeah,
way.
if you go into an employee and say, like, "Hey, I'm here to serve you," not serve you, but I'm here to give my best.
Right on.
Right.
He'll be like, "Oh man, he's gonna give his best. He's gonna open the shop on time. He's gonna close home. I can trust him with everything." Your booth rent could be advantageous. All that's negotiable.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You telling someone you're gonna be with them for, "I'll give you 5 years of my time. Give me this booth rent," and mean what you say.
Yep.
Then you're in position to negotiate
Totally.
and be more valuable. Because when you make yourself invaluable, you're making yourself priceless, and that's what
Yep.
people want to work with.
Oh, for sure. And then like when you act like that, like people, your employer, hopefully, should pursue you. Like
Yes.
I want to work with people like that. One that hit our shop vibe, that love their clientele and love people in general. Like I pursue that. I want that in somebody. Like I can teach you how to cut a do a haircut.
That's
That ain't
the
no
easy
thing.
part. That's the easy
But
part.
if you click with us, like I'm gonna fight hard for you, and like
Yes.
that's something Cody and I said to our people. Like, don't let booth rent be the fear of booth rent be the reason you don't work with us. Like,
Talk to me.
please, like
Vibe.
let's
Let me know.
let's hang out. Like, we don't. The dollar is not important to us. Like, I did not get in this business to chase a check. Like, I did this to pursue people. So yeah, like again, I feel like we've been saying a lot of good stuff about commission. I'm gonna blast it real quick because the one thing I have a fear of is we're talking like healthcare and stuff and providing all that, is that employer honoring that. I've seen a lot of people say they will give you health insurance and then they don't. I've seen people who are not only commission, they're still 1099 employees, so they're working as a contractor, but they're only getting a certain percentage of that cut, and that's dirty. Like I can't vibe with that at all. Like, because you're taking advantage of your person, and you shouldn't do that. And you as your self-employed, commission-based, whatever, know your self-worth. But if you're not providing people with these outlets, these health insurance, paid vacations, taking care of their taxes for them, and yet you still expect them, you give them a set schedule and they have to show up, and if you don't, you get written up or fired, that's bogus.
Right.
Like, that's so selfish. And that's not fair.
Well, that's what the structure comes in, where, like you said, you're working for someone then.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? But the more marketable you are, the more flexible you are,
Yeah.
you can go in and negotiate any contract. Because you can come in and say salary plus commission.
Sure.
Salary plus commission, you guaranteeing a certain salary. A week, you guaranteeing that. But that doesn't mean you go in there and be lazy.
No.
Still grind.
Let me ask you a question. How much leverage do you feel someone would have coming straight out of school talking about these are the things that I want and I need and I
Right.
demand, when you may, the shop may say, well, this is how I do things. Well, you know what I'm saying? You could
That's a good
run
question.
into that.
That's a good question. How much leverage does a student have out of school? It goes back to the student. Are you passing your tests? Are you coming to school every day? Are you participating in the school activities? Are you doing everything that's asked of you? I mean, you're giving yourself leverage. Are you building clientele while you're at school? You can build. Preston said he built clientele while he's at school. Most people don't want to build clientele while they're in school. So if you come in,
That's crazy not to.
Crazy not to.
But-
Crazy
Yeah.
not to.
yeah,
Take advantage of all your opportunities.
you should. So if you come in with all those things on the list,
Yep.
you got leverage. You're looking attractive because there's not too many of you coming out of school like that.
Yep.
There's maybe 2.5 out of 10. So
Sure.
you're
Right.
putting yourself in that 80-20 rule now.
Yeah, understand. Yeah, you can. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Like when you're doing your negotiating, be like, look, I've already got a clientele of
Yeah.
10, 15 people that I'm guaranteed to bring with me,
Participate
excluding whatever you're going to bring to the
participate
table.
in any type of school function. There's a battle. You win the battle. You come in first place, second
Yeah.
place. An employee would love to hear that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
came in second place in the school competition.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is, and that's kudos to you for putting things like that on.
I mean, but it's a reason behind it. It's not just for me. It's for the student.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
want you
see
to be
that.
as
Yeah,
much as marketable as possible.
absolutely.
Try to make your haircuts clean. You know what I mean? With the competition, one student lost because he didn't clean the station,
That's crazy. Yeah,
and the judge told him that
yeah.
you didn't clean, so you lost the student competition. So if someone's telling you that you've never met before, what is going through your mind? What are you
Okay.
thinking about? What should be going through your mind?
Take note.
The little
Yeah,
basic
that's-
things, the simple things.
So
Small
vital.
things.
Yeah.
And
We-
like, go ahead. Finish that thought.
The small little things will take you over the edge.
I was just gonna say, like, to expand on that, like, I would, don't get beat up over it. Like, if you lose something over that, but remember, like, these are essential tools that you're taught in school, and not only are they vital to a competition, but they're vital to your day to day. Like, I mean, part of your gig is to take care of your client. And part of taking care of your client is after they walk away, you're cleaning your tools for the next person, and that's like a discipline that you do every time. Like that's not just a guideline. That's that's a 10 commandments of barbers.
Yeah.
Clean your stuff.
sure.
Like
Do your chores. But that's why we beat it in your head. Do your chores. But we trying to ingrain
No
that
doubt.
habit into you.
practical disciplines.
Cleanliness.
And sometimes it's like, man, you did your chore today. Nah, I ain't do. I'm like, what? I mean, you practicing
Yep.
bad habits now.
Practicing failure.
So what are your habits going to look like when you get into a shop? When
Yep.
somebody come to you and say, what if an employer asks you, this is how you don't have leverage. An employer might ask you, hey Kev, you trying to work with us? We guarantee you $15,000 a week. You know what I'm saying? You getting booth rent, whatever. Let me ask you a question. Did you ever? How many times on an average of 10 months did you miss your chores? Oh, well, I missed it about 2 months out of the 10 months. How do you expect the employer to look at you?
I'm only completing 80% of my task, I guess.
So
Is that
you,
gonna look at me?
you know, of course, you know what I mean. That's it.
Yeah.
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 I mean, but
that's real talk though.
and those real questions that the employer might ask you. Can you fault them for asking you that?
No.
How do you treat your clients? Role play how you deal with a client after you finish your haircut. That's a good question for an employer to ask.
Totally.
Role play. You and I. So
Yeah.
I walk into the shop. How do you handle a client? How do you talk to them? Do you just, as soon as you finish with the haircut, just let them walk to the front by themselves? Those are questions. Those are
Yeah.
good questions.
How answer that, Preston? How do you deal with your client after?
Oh, the second. So I mean, as far as our shop set up, so we're appointment only, right? So
Okay.
our people walk in. Let me sidebar real quick. The beautiful thing about what Cody and I have done is we know each other's people, and so like even though he's not my guy, like I'm still greeting him like he's my dude, you know.
Right.
But when they walk in, we're saying, "What's up? How you doing?" We offer them a drink because we do free beverages with all of our cuts. And then we tell them they can hang out with us in the front of the house, or they can go to the back and watch some TV. And then we bring them up, do the cut. We're just shooting. Sometimes we just do light convo, and other times we get deep. And after the cut, we usually either snap a pic, or just go about our thing. They pay. We say thank you so much. We book something for the next cut, and then they're out the door. But I'm not leaving my dude alone as long as he is with me.
Yeah.
So if I'm with a guy, he's the only one in my world. But then when that next dude comes up, he's all that matters. Like
Right.
I'm going to greet my next people
Yeah.
always because that's just what you do. But like the person in my chair is all that matters right
Give me
now.
that 100% attention.
All that attention goes
Yeah.
to him.
Absolutely.
They are the king for the day.
Yeah.
For sure.
In that hour, whatever it is, that time slot, they are the king, the queen, whatever it may be.
For sure. For
They
sure.
get your undivided attention,
Yep.
which is right, only right.
Totally.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I know this is a great topic. We can go on forever and ever, but unfortunately, we have to kind of slow it down. But before we leave, I'm going to talk about the hourly wages. We'll expand on that quick. We'll probably do another episode about that. What do you guys think about that? Getting paid hourly.
I don't know. I've never even really considered an hourly wage cutting hair, but I almost feel like it's
But-
so many variables to it because then it depends on, well, do I want to drag this haircut out and just do one haircut an hour, or am I required to pump out X amount of haircuts per hour?
And piggybacking on what you said, that's how when you don't have leverage, when you come out of school not doing right, you might have to fall in one of those categories.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I want to be in that category. That
So-
doesn't sound too fun.
But unfortunately, there are a lot of students who are going to fall in that category because they don't take it serious.
That's one of the things, like I was talking about before, the flexibility, and then comparing it to someone that works in a factory, and that's basically what they're doing is working this hourly wage.
Let me tell you how you lose leverage.
I
This is
don't
something I seen happen this weekend. One student didn't come to school. He's going to FaceTime a student while he's in Gatlinburg.
Right.
I'm like, why would you FaceTime a student while you're in Gatlinburg while he's in school? Why you take, and why would you, what do you, that's how you lose leverage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One cat's in grinding,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one's chilling.
Yeah,
And like don't get me wrong, like I think it's important to
Of course.
mental health's great.
Yeah.
It's
It's
vital.
important.
Downtime, yeah.
But don't be respectful.
Yeah.
And just know, like, take ownership of your absence. Like sorry, but if you're taking vacay,
Yeah,
like
just chill.
just chill. But don't
No-
be
nobody's falling that do your thing.
no.
Get peace of mind.
But know that other people are going to take notice of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, my opinion on school is it's a year, give or take. Like,
Yeah.
if you can't take this year out of your life and say, this is what all I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to focus on, I'm just going to grind, and I'm going to make the most of it and get the most of it and become the best I can for this year, and it's going to set you up for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be that disciplined and take it that serious, because this is your future. This is your life.
Yeah.
This is your future, your kids' future, everybody around you's future.
That's important.
Yep.
That's valuable. That's how you earn the crown right there.
Yeah.
And the key is earning the crown. But again, talking about that, so is there anything that would make you say hourly wages would work for you?
If it was an astronomical number,
Yeah.
maybe.
I think that's the key is fair compensation.
Yes.
Because you could be required to pump out a certain amount, number of haircuts per hour,
Right.
to make that fair compensation worth it. I think your employer is going to have to say, like, let's say you're making $25 an hour plus tips, whatever tips you get in that hour. I don't know. I think it's hard. I think that's a dangerous game, because let's say you are doing 4 cuts an hour, but you're only getting paid for a quarter of those.
It's not worth it at all.
And now, granted, you're making tips.
Those aren't going to be on every haircut, though.
But those aren't guaranteed.
Yeah.
Tips are not guaranteed.
Right.
I don't expect any of my clients to tip me. That is a courtesy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone, like, I didn't do this for that. Like, I'm not waiting tables. Like, I'm cutting hair. So I'm not expecting people to want to. What's up, my guy? I'm not expecting that from people. So that's tough. I don't know if I have, like, I'm not saying it's a con. And I'm saying don't do it. If that's your only option, like, then yeah, bite that bullet and grind it out. Again, that's just not why I got into it. That's tough. That's tough.
What do you think, Leslie?
I mean, doesn't really appeal to me personally, but then again, it's different in a nail tech world, because a full set will take me an hour, as
Right.
a cut doesn't take you all an hour. So it's like,
But it's still the same,
But it
because
is-
if you work for someone, they could say, we only paying you, if it takes you an hour, we only paying you $15 an hour.
right.
And again, I mean, with the wages now, it's like you're working for an employer, and there's going to be some benefits similar to commission,
Yeah.
but you're probably making a little less. But again, the key is being treated fairly, and as the barber or the student come out of school, having some leverage.
Totally. Man, shoot your shot. Like, there is nothing wrong with coming up with requests.
Yeah.
Not demands, but requests. Be like, hey, I'm expecting this out of you, like, or like, this is where I'm at, and if they say no, respect that. Like, that's chill. Like, you had the brass enough to say, I'm gonna ask for this.
You
And they should respect you for that, but also you have to understand that they might say no, and that's okay too. And then they might come back with a counter offer and be like, all right, we're not going to offer you that, but we're going to offer you this.
Yeah, know your worth.
No doubt.
But
no
come
doubt.
with some leverage, and you can lose leverage by your credibility,
Yep.
dependability, and the person who you are.
I think this is one of the rare fields where you actually kind of almost get to interview your employer versus, a lot of places it's just the employer interviewing you.
Sure.
You can kind of say, so what are you offering? And you got your expectations. This is what I want. This is what I'm looking for. And then you can go visit multiple shops and try to find
But the
them.
thing is, in life, I think that applies to almost any and everything. If
Totally.
you're going to buy a car, you can get juiced, or you can juice them, or you can just be fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any field. You go on to be a librarian, you can get juiced, they can juice you, or it can be fair. Basically, in any field. You applied for an electrician job, it's the same way.
No
You
doubt.
have to know your worth.
Mhm.
You have to have some leverage. You have to be credible. You have to be dependable. That's what people want. Because
sure.
in life, in most jobs, in most things that we do is customer service. So if your customer service on point, you basically can get whatever you need, whatever you want.
Yep.
But if it's not, the employer can tell. They can tell where they're going with this. They can tell where they're going with the hire. So it's up to you to be on point.
No doubt.
Up to you to do your research. Up to you to do continual education. Up to you to make this skill your passion and make people your passion, treat people well. It's up to you to be respectful. It's up to you.
Bro.
Have a good vibe. So all that, it comes back to the man in the mirror. When you know your worth, you'll get what you need and what you want.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Integrity. Integrity. Is a big
Integrity,
thing, man.
yeah,
You have to have integrity in life.
that's major.
Yep.
It comes back to you. Look in the mirror.
Mhm.
What am I doing wrong? That's it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Again, we had another wonderful episode of Barber College Success. In our closing remarks, let all you guys come on and say your last piece. But again, Barber College Success brought to you by Craig Charles of Crown Cuts Academy JC, Crown Cuts Academy Bristol, and Craig's Crown Cuts downtown Johnson City. Again, this is a platform where we try to teach the casual observer, the person who's trying to get into this industry, whether it may be barbering, cosmetologist, nail tech, esthetician, or any type of service industry. What does it take? What fortitude do you need to have to be successful in this industry? What type of questions that you have that you might not be able to answer? Hopefully you listen to these podcasts, we'll be able to give you some type of answer, some type of knowledge. I think right now we're up to episode 35, 36, I'm thinking. Go check it out on Spotify, Google, several other platforms. Check them out. We had some great guests. We have some great guests today. I'll let them say their closing remark before we jump out of here and say peace. This is probably our longest episode, but sometimes when you're having fun, having a good conversation, it just flows.
Yeah.
And I know, like, Kev was like, I'm a little bit nervous. Leslie was like, I don't know. But it was just fun.
No,
It was fun.
It was awesome. I appreciate it.
So in closing, what you got to say, P?
Yeah. Man, I think booth rent commission, good or bad, whatever. I think knowing your worth is vital. There's benefits to both that are if they're honored. So I think you as the individual just need to notice that. And as long as you are confident in the choice you're making and that you vibe with your team, man, I think you're in a good space because it's so much more about chasing that buck. And so I think if you can find a fit, stick it out, try it out. And then if your employer pursues you, renegotiate that deal. So,
Kev, you had a good time today?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you inviting me on. I didn't know really what to expect. I was nervous. I've never done anything like this before, but it was really cool environment. I appreciate y'all making it comfortable and
It was
allowing me
fun.
to be a part of it. But I think one of the biggest takeaways that I got from this is being a person of character and integrity, and no matter which way you go, that's probably the most important thing, regardless. Like you guys said, the cut, you guys can teach anyone to cut, cutting will come, but having integrity, caring about people, being a person of substance, you know what I'm saying? Your word being 100, you know what I'm saying? This is what I say, this is what I mean. If I say I'm going to do it, this is how I'm going to do it and what I'm going to do. And that's going to carry you, it's going to make you successful
Longevity.
regardless if you go into a booth rent or you go into a commission or an hourly rate. Like you said, I mean, you just want to be the best that you can be in all situations.
Yes. What works for you. Miss Leslie.
Hey, I'm very happy that you asked me to come. This is very informative. Just things that you don't normally think about.
Right.
You need an outsider's perspective to just make you aware. Knowledge is what you want. So, especially when you're making a decision like that, that's really part of your future.
Knowledge changes situations. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I appreciate it.
What do you think your son's gonna say when he heard your voice?
Well, my father said, "Honey, you have a face for radio. You're gonna be great."
Dang.
Thank you.
That's what's up. This was a great one. I have to
Yeah.
say, this one was probably one of my best ones so far. You guys go in there and check them out and let me know what you guys think. It's fun. We're gonna do a season two. Everyone has to come back on
Okay.
and
Cool. I look
just
forward to it.
Yeah.
we're gonna vibe. So get ready for
Right.
season 2 sometime later on in 2021 up 2022. So,
Awesome.
but again, Barber
Right
College
on.
success. Thank you again for coming on. We had a wonderful time. Look forward to every episode. We're coming out on Friday. Lathan does his thing this week. He
Okay.
chops it up, cooks it up,
Puts
edit
it
it,
all together.
put it together, and he brings it out on Friday, usually in the afternoon sometime. So it's live every Monday at Market Street Media on Facebook. We do it, make it happen. But again, thank you guys. It was a pleasure. I had so much fun. Hope you guys had too.
Thank
For
you.
sure.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
yeah.
much.
Absolutely.
Barber College success. Spreading love the JC way.
Get it.
The only way Crown Cuts know how to do it.
Absolutely.
Boom. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.